we live? We good? Come on now. Come on now. We're live now, right? Good? Good. Woo! Yeah. Okay. I think that's like a running joke now with the producer. They're doing it like every time to me now. So hi everyone and welcome to today's dev discussion stream. It's great to see you. I see lots of familiar names in chat. I see lots of new names over in the YouTube chat as well. And this week we figured out how to make the YouTube chat bigger so we can see it without a pair of binoculars. So that's pretty hype. Today we have got a bunch of stuff to go through. It's been a few weeks since the last stream. I've missed you all. I hope you've been keeping busy while I've been away. There's something going on between Claymore and Bamba, and that's absolutely fine. None of us need to ask questions. What's on the menu, asks Korak, and that is a great question indeed. We are going to start off by talking about a new threat on Fortuna 3, the Howler. Some of you may have seen the Howler launch video a few weeks ago. We're going to be playing that launch video again. And we're going to be going through the... we're going to be inviting Vrinsado to come and okay, you know how I always dox everyone in these streams? Well, like, yeah, I didn't. Vrinsado, that's his handle, and that's what I'm sticking to. We're going to be showing off the asset trailer again so that you guys can all be up to speed, so that we're all up to speed on the asset trailer about the Howler, so you all know about the Howler trailer. And then we'll be inviting damn it, I did it. Vrinsado to come and talk about it as well. Vrinsado's been working as a game developer on the Howler for a little while now, and it's fun times. Next, we have our favorite anti-cheat community manager joining us to talk about technical updates. That's right, we'll be talking about all of the technical updates that you can expect with Season 3 as we prepare for the upcoming season. And last but most certainly not least, we will be releasing, we'll be showing the new trailer, brand new today. If you're up to speed on YouTube, you might have seen it already. We'll be talking about the Prospect Station upgrades. And joining us in the studio later will be Victor Janssen, who's a principal artist working on Prospect Station upgrades. So lots and lots on the menu. We are going to take our time, chill, take plenty of time to ask your questions as well. So think about those questions, get them questions going. We can see at least 3 or 4 lines of chat at once, so we'll keep an eye out and make sure that we'll make sure that oh man, okay. I'm preferring Twitch chat at the minute. YouTube chat's like majorly like kind of yeah. Come on guys, come on. Are there any new features in the station? Well, stay tuned to find out because we'll be talking about it today. But these are exactly the kind of questions that we can talk about. Why is Vasco so thick? I think we're going to have to ask Vasco's mum. There's no other way to know. We're just going to have to ask Vasco's mum. I see some other questions going on in chat here. Could the game ever go back to BR mode? I don't think so. Fight the Howler right now. You won't? I certainly won't. I absolutely will not. So, okay. Well, chat, let's take a look first of all at the Howler trailer that was released a couple of weeks ago. Make sure that everyone is up to speed completely. And after the video, we'll be joined by Vrinsado. So enjoy this video, and we'll see you in a minute.
It's big, it's bad, and it's flying. It's called the Howler.
And not just a flying creature, but a dangerous flying creature. And let me tell you something, it's something else when you're hiding inside of a building and you can't see the threat.
It can go even where other creatures can't go.
So the Howler is going to be heard from all over the map.
Jumping on a crate helps you, for example, against Striders. Then the Howler will just say like, oh yeah, that's a nice crate, so why should I care? I can fly.
Hi, my name is Saskia and I'm senior animator at Yaga, and today we will be talking about the Howler. Though I think I should not do this alone. Let me holler at somebody. Hey!
Hey, what's up?
Hey.
Hi, my name is Mando, but the community knows me as Rumble. I'm game designer in the activities team on the Cycle Frontier. And I'm very happy to be here and to be talking to you about the Howler today.
The best way to explain the Howler is actually to explain the other creatures first. So let me start with the ticks. Small insects run towards you, explode. Really annoying. They have a lot of life issues.
Super annoying.
The next creature is the Strider. Also run at you, but they bite, they don't explode, so they stay. You have to take care of them. The next one in the tiny squad is the Rattler, my favorite four-legged spider gremlin, how I like to call it. It spits at you from afar. Take care while you're fighting Striders and ticks in the same time.
And then it runs away, which is the worst part.
Very rude. Marauder, arrogant piece of shit. Out of range, it's slow. Also spits at you, does not run away. When you're close enough, it explodes into a wrecking ball and runs at you, claws blazing. Take care. The next creature is our boss creature, the Crusher. It is what the Marauder thinks it is, like big, tanky, comes at you with really powerful attacks and very territorial. So in comparison, when it comes to the Howler, it fits somewhere between Crusher and Marauder in difficulty. And the difference is, it's up there. So you have to stay aware of your surroundings while this creature screams at you and flies around, and that can be tricky.
So you might be wondering, what exactly will the Howler be doing on Fortuna? How will it behave? What is the Howler? In addition to, as Saskia mentioned, it being the first actually flying creature that we're adding, the Howler will also be our first roaming creature, which means that it will just move around the map on its own, from point of interest to point of interest. It will have different nesting locations. It has its own logic for senses as well. It's mostly blind, but will have special scan abilities that will allow it to detect players even when they're trying to be very sneaky. So that's going to make things very interesting, and I think the coolest thing about the Howler is that it will just interfere with what you're doing on the planet. Like, you might be literally minding your own business in the forest, and the Howler doesn't care. The Howler will come for you. So in the realm of attacks, what does the Howler have?
So it has attacks. I know, big surprise. And it shoots at you. It has proximity explosions. So you have to watch your step. And it also does a lot with its voice, where it tries to disorient you, or maybe even if you're not in combat, it tries to echolocate you. And if you are in combat and get the health really low, second phase, it will get really pissed off.
Well, two-phase boss fight for you there. That's pretty cool. So why the Howler? The Howler, as we've mentioned before, is our first flying creature. It's also our first roaming creature, which means that it will do wonders for the cool stories that can happen on Fortuna, the kind of, very intimate or personal experiences you can have, and it will just make the planet a lot more unpredictable. You have multiple ways of getting your hands on Howler loot, right? You can loot the nests, you can fight the Howler. The Howler has special behaviors that will allow you to get your hands on loot from the Howler without actually killing it. We want to make sure that new players can still have the normal cycle experience on Fortuna. So we made sure to design the Howler in a way that is, at the same time, not too difficult to avoid, but even once you are in a fight, it's not too difficult to disengage either. So don't worry about being chased to the end of the earth. That's not what it's going to be like, unless you're asking for it. In some of these locations, you might now find nests, Howler nests, which are big, very alien-looking, strange structures. And at the bottom of these structures, you will find Howler eggs, which is a sort of new environmental hazard we're adding to the world of Fortuna. And as part of the campaigns, you will also get to and have to venture into these areas and have to deal with the nests. The Howler will be coming with the start of Season 3 on the 29th of March. And next week, tune in for some technical updates we're doing to the Cycle Frontier.
Yeah. So make sure to log in for Season 3. The Howler will come for you.
So, welcome to the stream, Vrinsado. How are you doing?
Hey, hi everyone.
Hey.
It's really great to be back. I missed it, to be honest. So I'm doing pretty fine. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Shout out to
Well,
anyone who recognized me from back in the day.
Yeah, I have seen some old faces in chat. I'm sure there's at least a couple of people who will definitely recognize you. It's great to have you back on the show. It's been a long time, but you've been working on the Howler all this time, and now it's great to have you back.
Yeah, absolutely.
So obviously we've just watched the Howler trailer with chat. What's it been like to work on the Howler?
It's been a very interesting challenge, to be honest, because it's a flying creature, first of all, which means you have a lot of things to think about that you didn't before with the ground-based ones, like line of sight stuff, and also how can I make attacks cool that can reach you anywhere. And yeah, it's been quite fun prototyping and testing stuff out. Honestly, really glad that we have it.
Yeah, I think so. I think there's a part in the video where Feralis says, "Oh well, you stand on a box to avoid the Striders," but the Howler says, "Why should I care?" You know.
You know, the Howler sees you. Like you really need to commit to hiding from it if you want to do that.
Like, so just how hard is it to hide from the Howler? Like, how much of the map will it chase me across if I'm trying to rat away from it?
I will menacingly rub my hands before start answering the question. So it doesn't reset like the other creatures. It actually does hunt you until it loses sight of you. So it does follow line of sight rules, meaning you will be able to hide from it, especially like in buildings, caves, even in containers, etc. But it's pretty like if you anger it, it will stay on your tail until you actively lose it. So there's no just running away in a straight line and hoping that it will work, because it's faster than you when it's when it's in evil mode.
Yeah,
but it
of
is
course.
it is possible, absolutely, and we want that especially for newer players. So you're not automatically dead if you accidentally aggroed it or ran into it in an unfortunate situation. So you can hide from it, and it will stick around for a while. It will investigate, and then if it gives up, it will return to its roaming self, roaming around the map.
So, as you've been working on the Howler, is there anything new that like adding a flying creature has added you to do other than the obvious? And it also, has it like opened up any like did you face any like challenges that maybe weren't so present before when everything was land-based?
Yeah, one of those was actually the whole behavior we just talked about. That's why I immediately came out with that statement, because yeah, like we tried resetting it in the same way like we did with the other creatures, but it just doesn't work with the creature that technically sees you all the time from everywhere. It just felt wrong, so we needed to come up with kind of its very own hunting behavior to yeah, balance between it staying on your tail, pun maybe not intended, and how to lose it, like how difficult it's supposed to be. That was one thing, and the other thing is, of course, it has a much broader range of movement because it's flying. So how far do you want it to fly? How fast do you want it to fly? There was a lot of testing there. Like we started slow, and then I think we slowly reached a sweet spot in movement speed, because we wanted it. The goal was for it to be kind of a menacing presence, so that you the feeling itself while fighting it should be kind of menacing too. So it's not super easy to hit because it stays in one place all the time. It actually, yeah, happened to me quite a lot that I shot it, then I tried to dodge some attacks, and then I moved my gun to the same space it was before, and then it was just gone before because it straight moved somewhere, and I didn't watch the air. So yeah, I hope it will be an interesting challenge on that alone already. And yeah, you can do this with a flying creature really well. What you cannot really do with ground-based creatures, because they will, yeah, bump into things a lot.
Yeah, pathing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So where can players find the Howler? Is it restricted to one map, to a section of a map? Is it everywhere?
Yeah, it will be on every map, and there is basically one Howler, because that's their territory. so to speak, and it will be roaming around. So it's more likely that it will find you if you're not careful, but usually it's flying pretty high, and if it's somewhere near-ish you, it will also make quite a lot of noise when it does certain behaviors. And this is one way to find it, but you can actually also find the nests that will be introduced on each map, where it comes to roost, so to speak. So it does sometimes take a rest. I mean, all that flying is really taxing on the wings, so it does need to land sometimes. And those places, if you find them, you can actually lay an ambush for the Howler, or steal some stuff that will be in the nest.
Okay, I see you've already answered one question that's been coming up in chat. So that's one Howler per map?
Yeah, at the moment that's how we would like it.
Okay, cool. And the Howler on Tharis, that sounds terrifying, because Tharis is quite a small map, right? I mean, I suppose you can hide underground easier, but
yeah, exactly. But it's interesting, let's say it that way. Especially, it was actually also the biggest challenge from pathfinding perspective. And we're still tuning it, but yeah, it's something to watch out for.
yeah, absolutely. And you say it's on map 1 as well. So if we're a new player, can we face it in match 1?
Not in match 1, I think. It's although technically, this is a good question. I actually don't really know for 100%. But as I said, it's deliberately set up in a way that if you run into it, it's not your immediate death sentence, because you can, if you actively try to dodge it and run away from it and hide somewhere, then you can lose it. And I mean, you can use it to, like, if you're followed by another player that you cannot get rid of, you can aggro it and hope for the best.
Yeah, okay. So I guess that affects the kind of PvP mechanics quite heavily as well, because I suppose, like the meteor coming or an oil rig or anything else, it's going to be quite obvious when the Howler is engaged with someone.
Yeah, especially since it's designed to be a bit of a prolonged fight, so you cannot easily or like really take it down really fast, which means it's loud, it's really visible flying around. So at some point, if you take your sweet time, then it's very probable that you will be seen and that there may be company arriving.
Okay, so I'm nervous. I'm nervous because we've established on this show a couple of times that I am a rat, and it sounds like this creature's going to come and find me, Vrin, and I'm a little nervous about that. Am I gonna struggle? Is the Howler gonna come and find me and like and ruin my day?
Well, it will not actively seek you out unless you wanted to, because you can actually be quite loud around it. It has a good sight, but it has not the best ears, so to speak. Unless it has a very special behavior when it's roaming and actually does scan the area once in a while to listen for noise specifically, and it will be both audible and visible when it does that. So you can run around. If it doesn't see you, you can be quite near it. But if it does the scan, you better not make noise. But if you follow those simple rules, you should be fine.
It sounds so reassuring. Just follow these simple rules.
Yeah, but I actually love the fact that you said you feel quite nervous, because I thought, like, goal achieved, yeah?
Yeah. Okay, well...
It's kind of meant to be a menacing presence on the map, not necessarily just kill everything in sight, but if you're unprepared and if you don't want to engage it and you find yourself in a bad position, then it's not the best position to be in, fighting the Howler when you don't want to do it.
Yeah. And like, how far away can you hear it if you want to avoid it? Is that quite easy?
It does make quite a lot of noise, especially when it does let's just say the scanning behavior, which also gives it a visual cue. But you usually can hear it pretty far away because the wing sound itself is pretty audible.
Yeah, and how does it affect the player experience with regards to like evacuating? Does it block evacs? Does it get in the ship with you? Is it another Jeff where we have to give it a job if it comes to the station?
I mean, you can ask it nicely to join you on the station. I don't know. Maybe it's looking for a new job, and it's just its way of telling you that you should invite it for an interview. But I don't think. Well, it's not supposed to block evac. Actually, yeah, you should. If you're really trying to get away from it, evacing is a good bet. I'd say it counts as a hard hiding place.
I don't know. I feel like we're suddenly in like an old advert. It's like, if you want to avoid it, evacing is the best way.
Yes.
So
it's one way. Let's say it like this.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I'm feeling a lot of hype for you. You're pretty excited for this to come out, aren't you?
Yeah, very much. I mean, I've been watching it grow, so to speak, in a very literal sense. Starting from yeah, I mean, even the attacks don't seem like they were just a few months ago. Seeing all the new stuff coming in from prototype phase to actually now tune testing it. I'm really excited what our players will think about it. And of course, we will be very, very happy for all feedback we receive. That's kind of how we know where it maybe falls flat and where it's really touches the good nerve.
Yeah, of course. I mean, we always appreciate that feedback. Looking at you all for a second, chat. Yeah, we always appreciate the feedback about our new features. And yeah, I kind of can't wait for it to get into the player hands either, to be honest. I feel. How long have you been working on this? Because it feels like a long time.
Actually, not that long. Well, I started around the end of last year, but I kind of fully took it over just the beginning of this one. So yeah,
Okay.
not that long, but for me it also feels pretty long because it's like my creature. I want it to thrive.
Okay, so some people in chat are asking about loot, and I also have a question about loot.
Sure.
What kind of loot does the Howler make available to the players? Because it's on all of the maps, right? So can we use this as like a get-rich-quick scheme? Can we kind of shortcut?
Or if you're super good at killing it and you can do it really fast, then it would probably work. But I'm pretty sure that won't be a very efficient scheme. Although we do introduce Howler unique loot, which means that, and I know for a fact that there are some special recipes being cooked right now that use the Howler loot, and also it will be distributed in the kind of in the recipe economy. And it will have basically 3 distinct items. The stuff that it spits around, which we call the honey. So, of course, when you defeat the Howler, this will pretty much be guaranteed loot, but it also drops it when roaming. So a bit you can also find without actually engaging it, which was also like one of the goals we had in designing it. And you also get it in the Howler nests. So for at least for this part of the loot, you can interact with the Howler without actually fighting it, which is a cool thing, I think, because you feel its presence on the map. Kind of, if you find those on the ground, you know the Howler was here. Yeah, then you can basically loot the darts that it attacks with, but I'm afraid that will actually require a fight. And then we have some very interesting, very, very, very exquisite loot that it can drop, which shall not be spoiled at this moment.
Okay, that sounds pretty interesting. How I suppose the real question for today is how much will be in at launch, right? Because the Howler comes everyone 29th of March, season 3 launch. So the Howler will be in, and will all of the recipes and like loot be in as well, or is some of that going to follow later?
So the basic, I'll just call it the basic loot, the stuff I just mentioned, should be in. Yeah, I very much hope so. And we will most likely expand on it in the future, and also probably, hopefully, maybe have more interaction with Howler-specific items. But for the time being, yeah, they will be integrated. Like those items that will be at launch will be integrated into the economy.
Yeah, and I suppose that's another key question. It's almost the same question but slightly different. With the new economy changes that we've talked about before, how has it created more difficulties fitting the Howler in, or has it been quite a smooth? Is it almost nice, I guess, to kind of have like the economy changes to work with?
I'd say it's like it feels like just a cool addition because they are very unique items that we can play with to add more Howler specific stuff. I'd call it a bonus.
A bonus. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And so if we can get loot from the Howler without fighting it, will we get like a lemming meta? You know what I mean? Like just like, because I'm kind of already thinking, can I just follow the Howler around and like we can?
It's kind of my job to prevent that, but who knows?
Okay.
Maybe no, but it's not super easy to follow it. At least it shouldn't be. But yeah, theoretically, I mean, it's only the most basic loot item that you can acquire this way.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, so if you want the better stuff, you actually have to fight it. Yeah, you don't need to get the basic Howler honey. You don't need to fight it.
Okay. Okay. I can already kind of is taste the right word for the honey recipes for all the new gear? It doesn't feel like the right word. It doesn't feel like the right word at all, but it feels also like the right word because of the word honey.
Well, it's kind of congealed honey that isn't like in its fluid state anymore. So you can probably create solid stuff out of it.
Oh,
and
okay.
I haven't tried it yet, so I can't say how it tastes. But looking at the Howler, I guess it's not good.
I mean, I don't know. There's I've heard that like bug flour is quite tasty. I mean, I don't know. It could be.
Maybe.
I suppose
Yeah.
that's a
be.
parallel.
Yeah.
Bugs. If people are afraid of insects and things like that, do they need to worry about the Howler, or is it not that similar?
The art team has very much worked towards making it abstract enough, in my opinion, at least, and I know that it was a goal. So it does have elements of insects, but it's not kind of classic insectoid monster. Yeah. I mean, it's a big, massive, like almost like a typical, I'd say, meat creature. But it's a difficult question to answer. So I delegate it to. I hope the art design team has enough abstraction in it. Yeah.
I just want a nice little quote of you describing something as a typical meat creature. I'm curious as to what fits into this category now. Like.
Brinzago describing things 101. Yeah.
Okay, so what else have we got to talk about? Oh, so obviously the Howler's going to have an effect on the progression in the game, right? I think we've hinted about Howler campaigns in the past. Can you tell us any more about that?
Well, I can tell you that the Howler will be integrated into campaigns, but unfortunately, for more info on that, you would need to poke Rumble quite a bit.
Yes, we'll have to. I mean, Rumble is in a lot of the trailers that we play today, so it feels like he's here with us. He's with us in spirit, but
Yeah.
and we've got people in chat already volunteering to poke Rumble, which is just kind of typical, I guess. So, okay, I'm trying to think if I have any more Howler related questions. I know chat has some, but I just want to see if all of my tick boxes are done. Oh, what do I need to take on the Howler? Like, can I, if I got K28 in a dream, are we good?
Well, you should have at least blue gear and some friends, I'd say, or better, because it's not an easy creature to take down, and you will have a bad time if you try to attack it with a. What did you say? K28 in a dream?
Yeah, K28 in a dream.
Yeah.
What, just 200 bullets, right? It'd be fine.
Sure, yeah. As long as you can evade everything, you'll be fine. But I guess it's true for every creature in every game ever. If you evade 100% of the attacks, you're absolutely fine.
Yeah, I'm natural, of course. So mostly blue gear then, you said. Yeah,
At
blue
least.
guns, blue
Yeah.
armor. Yeah. Okay. So that's kind of cool. So then I guess if you do get stung in white armor and stuff, as you've said, run and hide.
Yeah. As I said, I actually tested it myself. Containers work.
Containers do work. Oh,
As
you mean
hiding
like
players,
the open containers?
Yes.
Ah, okay.
I mean, you have to have quite the distance already to it, else it will see you. But they do work, yeah, with a bit of finesse.
Okay, good to know. Good to know. So let's head over to chat then and see what kind of questions chat has had. And I've already got a couple actually that I've sort of seen on the way. Thank you very much, everyone. I can't remember exactly who asked this one, but it was from YouTube chat. Someone a while back said, "Will there be variations of the Howler like we have with Jeff and the other creatures? Like, will there be a tropical Howler and all the other fruity variations?"
Oh, I'd love a tropical hauler. To answer the question really straightforwardly, with release, no, we'll have one version, but we really would like to have different variations in the future. So it's pretty high on the wish list.
Okay, cool. That's cool. Oakfig says thank you. What else? What else did I see? I saw one. It was about the respawn time. Obviously, there's only one Howler per map. So if I've just dropped and someone's just done the Howler, will I have to wait an hour, half an hour, or is it quite quick?
It should be quite quick, so not half an hour, but I actually cannot tell you the exact time because we're tuning it quite a bit. But yeah, it should be basically if you drop in and you stay for a while, you should have it respawn. So that's the goal at least.
Gotta be careful with those vague statements. Remember
Yeah, you have to be.
We've had is like 6 hours or something.
Exactly. You want to be as precise as possible, but also give yourself the leeway of being vague, and it's a very tightrope to balance on. But I can't speak from design intention, so yeah, we would like it to be there, or else the whole menacing presence part would not work very well.
Okay, good. Talking of being menacing, I've seen some other questions as well regarding being able to ride the Howler, getting saddle mounts and things like that. I mean,
I do remember questions such as this from 2 years ago with different creatures. Not planned at the moment. But a very cool idea. Yeah, and you unfortunately also cannot shout it out of the sky if that was for some reason a follow-up question.
Okay. Okay, yeah, we're just playing all the games now. I've got a question actually, because obviously the Howler was in the old version of the game as well, the old Battle Royale. Just how different is it? I mean, obviously, some people in the chat have been around for a long time. They've known the game through several of its different variations, and it's still hanging around. They still have a surprise, or are they going to be kind of like, oh, this is the same but different?
Well, from the outside, it might look very similar, but it plays really differently because the old one wasn't intended at all to be kind of let's call it mini boss creature. Whereas the new one, it's bigger. It has a very unique attack style and attack pattern, and it's just big and bad. So yeah, there's all like, not to say almost no similarity, but it's a very, very different concept.
Yeah,
Now this time
I
around.
just upset so many people by referring to the old game as a battle royale. Sorry.
Oh yeah, I should have
PvP.
scolded you for that.
Yeah, you should have done. You should have done. Yeah, I can't even remember the whole thing. An FTP, PvP, FPS Royale. Yeah, something like that. That's most of the things in there. So yeah, we know it's on Bright Sands. How about landing? Does it ever land? We said it rests, right? Does it
Yes.
perch? Land?
It lands and then it looks about if it's safe or not, and then it goes to sleep for a bit of time. And this is actually, I have forgot to mention it before, but this is the only way it regenerates health, actually, since, yeah, you can fight it for quite a long time, but if you lose it, it still retains basically its damage until it found a spot to perch and sleep.
Cool. So it regenerates health. Is that the first creature that has regen?
No, but the others have a very kind of specific reset behavior. That's what I meant in the
Okay.
beginning. This one doesn't follow that. It has its very own loop. So it actually goes to a landing spot and goes to sleep to regenerate its health. And you can see that and you can interact with that. Or use it to your advantage. If you see a Howler flying around that doesn't have full HP, well, that's a different fight than from fighting it from the very beginning.
Oh, and on that, kind of reacting to that, Svexy asks, will it sleep in places that we can't get to? Is the Howler going to cheat? Is it going to go and hide places we can't hit it?
I'll say with most places you can reach.
Okay, most places. So
Or at least see it enough to shoot it. I think that was the question. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw a question about I've forgotten who asked it. It was a name I recognized. It was on Twitch chat. It was a little higher up. It was about flight in game design. A little further, maybe. A little further. Let's see if we can find this question, because it was an interesting one. It was very much a game dev question. Okay, so yeah, this is from Frainist. You'll have to tell me how to pronounce that. Design question in general for Vryn. In most games, once flight is introduced, it's a bit of a Pandora's box. Have there been any discussions to offer flight from a player's perspective, like a short-range jetpack?
I would argue that is probably the bigger Pandora's box than a flying creature. But yeah, I absolutely understand where you're coming from, and yeah, of course, it was. There were quite a few challenges with introducing like a flying creature later on. But since the question was more on the player side, I don't think so that we have any plans on doing that at the moment. Because yeah, that would be quite a drastic change. Whereas the flying creatures, it's on the AI side, it's much more tangible to control to fit into the space that we currently have, which is actually then true because you know how players behave and can adjust it accordingly.
Yeah, I guess kind of related, there's another question here from Colin the Tank that's like, how will that work with loot? If you kill it while it's hovering over like an unreachable area, I'm thinking specifically of Faris and the Void. Bye loot?
Oh, I am so glad that you asked this question, because this was a very, very long discussion and process to find out how to best do it. And I'm pretty sure that we have a good solution now. It's actually when you shoot it, at the moment where it dies, it kind of the loot trails out of the Howler and lands on a spot that should absolutely be reachable by
Okay.
players.
Okay,
And
so
you will, and it will be like the trail itself will be very visible, and also when the loot is on the ground, if you are near it, you will also have a little bit of an advantage of seeing it and also hearing it if you're near enough. Because we did quite a lot of testing with how to make it actually findable for players, because this is very astutely recognized by chat was a big problem, of course, especially if
Yeah.
it falls off somewhere. So we had to make sure that it always deposits the loot somewhere that you can reach.
okay, and when you say these trails, I'm immediately thinking of like the drop pod trails. Is that similar, different, or is it a honey trail? Is it going to be sticky?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
Okay, the sticky trails. Got it.
it's a very Howler themed trail. Yeah, so
Yeah,
it
let's rename
doesn't
the
look.
stream right now. Sticky trails.
You heard it here first. Yeah.
I saw a question from YouTube earlier that was quite interesting. So you were talking about behavior earlier, specifically about like how the Howler interacts with people. The question was from Korak, one of our Fortuna's favored this month. Will it attack a random person or the person who shot it first? If we are imagining two squads fighting and the Howler gets attracted, what happens?
That's a very good question, and also currently in a very tuning phase, because we are ourselves in the process of finding out how it will work best with a few people, a lot of people, and it's not supposed to always just attack one person. That's not what we want. So I can say that from a design perspective. So if because it would be a bit weird if there are, let's just say for the sake of it, 8 people shooting at it, that it always just hones in on one.
Yeah.
So we will try to distribute it a bit around.
Will it be similar to any of the other creatures that we have in terms of like, I'm thinking in like MMO terms, like aggro now, like would it be similar to like the Crusher or the Marauder, or is it its own thing?
It's pretty much getting its own treatment again. So
Okay.
it's a unique creature from all perspectives. But I think it deserves it, since it's also a flying creature, and it's like the one flying creature we have gets all the special treatment.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. Talking of special treatment, I've seen some people asking about naming, and if there was any like thought about renaming the Howler. I think it was one of our mods actually who was asking about its old name being something like Overseer, and what we, what was the process there?
And we wanted it, like we pretty much honed into Howler relatively fast, because A, yeah, it was kind of the overarching term for a long time, but B, it also explains why it howls a lot and gives away audio cues, which I think is kind of a cool way of already building that into the name. So you know kind of a bit what to expect on the audio side.
Makes sense. That makes tons of sense. A question that came very early on from both, I think, Bianca and Bari, two of our content creators, who are maybe they need a drink of water or something. I'm not sure. They were asking if you can defeat the Howler by seducing it.
Well, first you would need to find out what it really wants, and then who knows? We haven't tested that yet.
That's not a no.
Yeah. That's a very writer's answer, but no, you cannot, unfortunately. You can discourage it from following you, but just by hiding.
I see a concern in the YouTube chat from Abel Timmer, because obviously in a lot of the streams recently we've talked about making the new player experience and a welcoming thing. The last stream was even called "Giving a Fair Chance to Everyone," and they ask, are the first drops going to be harder now because of the Howler? Because they don't think that's good for new players.
That's a pretty good point, and as I said before, this is something we're discussing now, so I wasn't sure where we left off on that discussion, but
Okay.
we do want to actively not make it harder for new players, and not only from the side of the Howler being able to be avoided.
We've got a. I'm getting a whisper from Moldy Toast that we won't be having the Howler in the new player buckets. That's just in.
Okay,
So
there you have it. Yeah.
question answered.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Thank you, Moldy Toast. What would we do without Moldy Toast? Is that Toast? Is that you but moldy, or is that someone else?
You mean it's Toast from the far future?
No, I mean yeah, Toast from like the next section of the show. It's like he went bad. Okay. Okay. So let's see. Let's have a look at some other questions we've got going on in here. Maybe YouTube chat. I think there's some more questions at the bottom there. Oh, I saw one earlier actually that Laranjas just reminded me of if they didn't ask it directly, and that was someone was asking. Obviously, the old version of the creature used to summon other creatures and stuff. How does the Howler react with the creatures already on the planet?
Oh, it does summon them if they're around to attack you. But it also doesn't really care what happens to them, because it has explosive attacks and area attacks, and it really is the monarch creature of the region. So if there's I don't know, there's a German expression, so like if there's spill then or collateral damage, then that's okay with the Howler.
Okay. Here's a question from Lare Lala. I love saying that name, just before we move on. What types of attacks does it have? Does it spit? Does it breathe fire? Does it throw stuff? She asks if there's a lung attack. I don't know what a lung attack is, but I'm intrigued. I guess like blowing, I guess, right? What kind of attacks can we expect?
Well, if the lung attack indeed means if it actually uses its lungs to blow something at you, wind/sound force. I mean, it's a Howler, so it does audio stuff. Then you are absolutely correct. I have never thought about it as a lung attack, to be honest. But
Yeah, no, neither
that's
had
how I
They're
will
now
call it from
saying
now on. Yeah.
they're now saying in the chat that it was a typo. They meant to type lunge.
Oh, okay, but
Which makes so much more sense when you think
yeah,
about
that's
it.
true. But the lung attack made sense in my head too. So yeah, it does.
We're right there with you, Lara.
It does attack you kind of with a sound blast, and it also shoots darts in different versions. And the base attack, without spoiling too much, is shooting big darts that are quite inaccurate, but they stick to the ground for quite a while. And I mean for quite a while. You can see them if it fought somewhere else. And if you are near it, it will trigger a proximity explosion. But it can also be triggered when you shoot them. It can also be triggered when another one explodes nearby. So it's really, really not advisable to be near the big Howler darts when they stick in the ground.
Okay, so big Howler dart. We've got Howler darts. We've got sticky trails. We've got lung attacks. This is shaping up. I'm forming a picture in my head. You know.
That's unique enough for you yet.
Yeah, absolutely. Now I think I saw another question on YouTube. Oh no, I think it was more of a suggestion actually. So it's that's fine. I've also seen a bunch of questions about stuff that aren't necessarily Howler related. Some of them will be coming in the roadmap. We'll be talking about all sorts of things. So some of them I'm just going to kind of ignore. Sorry, not sorry. Other things, like I've seen some of you talking about cheaters and stuff, and we're actually going to be touching on that in the next section of the show as well, so hold on for that. But I will just say that, especially in the shielded matchmaking, cheating's really not that much of a problem. It does a great job of filtering that out. So if your experience was from earlier on, we're actually really proud of how much we've kind of combated cheating at this point. So yeah, that's that on that. I think there are other questions as well, but basically they'll either be in the roadmap or they'll be sometime soon. So yeah, but we can take a few more questions. We've got plenty of time actually. We're a little early. So Rumble's saying we've oh never mind.
yeah,
Never mind.
yeah.
Rumble's memeing. It's fine. So, will there be? I guess this is a specific question, but we can expand it a little bit. Jace the Ripper is asking, will there be some kind of hazmat suit concept since the nests seem like they might do a little more damage than we thought? I'm going to expand that a little bit and say, will there be like new gear that comes with the Howler to help you combat it?
That's a tricky question because, yeah, on the one side, as I said already, we want to have some Howler-specific new stuff that requires also the Howler loot to build. But specifically for the hazmat suit, something along those lines has been discussed, but most likely will not be in for release.
Okay. That is a confirmed no for release at least. Cool. Okay. I see a question here as well. I mean, obviously, one of the big. I mean, the game is named after the cycle, the storm that ravages the planet. How does the Howler interact with the storm?
Well, first of all, it looks really, really awesome during the storm because it starts glowing up. But it also drops. It has a has a higher chance to drop the good stuff in the storm, or a bit more of the stuff. Let's say it like this, because of course fighting during the storm is its own challenge in a nutshell, and especially fighting the Howler. So there is a bit of a reward for doing that.
I felt like Sellout Sardo was back in the room for a second there. I'm like, you can get the good stuff.
Oh, I should get in character next time. Totally.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We can totally do that. We could give you a section. You know, we could have like a section where we go away and like have the whole thing and. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Then I need
Yeah.
to oil my vocal cords again because that was really, really difficult speaking like that for 5 minutes.
Okay, yeah, don't.
Yeah,
Don't
but
hesitate.
I'll
In fact,
prepare. Yeah, for next time maybe.
everyone. If you're going to be talking for a while, make sure you do a voice warm up, have a nice warm drink and plenty of fluids.
Speaking of which, yeah.
So, yeah, speaking of. So if we scroll up a little bit on YouTube chat, I think I saw a question in here from Geo Flores. Someone said there was a good question. Okay. Okay, yeah. So this is definitely thinking, I think, beyond season 3. So we're not talking about anything that's happening right now. Let's make that very clear because we all know what chat's like. We say one thing and they're like leak. That's not what's happening. But they asked, with the Howler being one of the creatures from the old game, do we think that in the future we might see more creatures from the old game? They particularly missed the Alpha Warden.
That's a very good question that I actually cannot answer in a definitive way because just as concepts go, etc. Of course, it's always cool to have something that you can use as inspiration or rework. But as far as I know, at least, there is not yet a concrete plan or to use specifically the Alpha Warden in the future. But who knows?
Okay. So, we've got a time for a couple more questions. If there's anything else Howler related, I mean, we've gone through the really juicy ones about seduction and riding
And lung
um,
attacks.
and lung attacks. Yeah, the lung attacks I think are my favorite. Thank you for blessing us with that, Lorraine. I mean, I see that last question, Lorraine Lala, but I don't know. This almost feels like we're playing in our heads already. So back on the Howler and its attacks, is there a kind of attack pattern to it, or like cue to each specific attack type? So I guess I'm immediately thinking of Jeff and how when you know it, you can kind of guess what it's going to do. Will that be similar with the Howler?
Well, I mean, it always pays to have a telegraph and some patterns that players can learn, right? Especially for the really difficult creatures. So yeah, it does have certain patterns it follows, and some of the more intense attacks will have also a telegraph, of course, that you can learn. But there's also enough, let's say, surprise, or not surprise, but enough variety in it that it's not always just following from A to Z straight, like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, of course. And you said you were still working on some of it anyway, right? With like when you
Yeah.
have 2 groups and the Howler and Jeff, always Jeff. We were not quite sure what's going to happen yet. I see another question from Colin the Tank. Basically they're asking about how the Howler difference, the difference in how the Howler experience differs when you're solo versus trio. Like, will it have adjusted health? Is there other ways that it can be kind of, balanced out a bit, or will it be better to attack it with a group?
Well, the way it's set currently, it definitely is an advantage to attack it in a group, since it's not really designed to be easily taken down by one person. And in the future, as I said, we wanted to play around with different Howler versions, maybe. There we could think about more variety, but for the time being, it's this one creature that we have. And it's, more or less not the best idea, let's say, to attack it solo. Unless you're really geared up.
I mean, I know that we're trying to do cautionary tales, but this just sounds like a challenge. I can hear Vasco loading up the K28 already. You know what I mean? Like, if the Howler is in at the very start, obviously it's in from the 29th of March. As soon as we start the game, after the last time that we wipe and move to the new game economy and all of that sort of thing, how long will it take for players to find it? And how long will it take for the first person to beat it, do you think?
I actually cannot give a really good answer to that question. Hopefully not immediately from the get-go. But knowing some very, very proficient players, who knows what will happen.
Okay, so that's okay. You keep your secrets. That's fine.
I mean, I already see people that will challenge themselves to, hey, let's do it with white weapons. Let's get just like 10 people together and see what happens.
Oh yeah, you can see them. It's the usual
Yeah.
suspects in chat. You know exactly who'll be up to these sort of things. Was that one of the objectives? Was it to try and encourage sort of like more cooperative play?
Yeah, absolutely, because it's much
Okay.
easier to evade attacks, especially the ones that the Howler does, if it's not focused on you 100% of the time. Just flowing from this, and then of course it having taking quite a while to take down.
Of course.
And
That's interesting.
And with the movement I mentioned, sorry, also at least one person can have an eye on it because they're not actively dodging something, so it makes it easier to fight.
Okay, so that's really interesting. So maybe we can all kill it on day one. I've seen a few people in chat saying, I will kill it on day one. K4 Carnival.
No,
being,
I will.
being one there. Yeah, no, I will. So
And I'm
yeah,
like, okay,
maybe we
ramping
all
up
can.
HP by 200%.
Maybe it's not killing the Howler. Maybe killing the Howler was the friends we made along the way.
Yes, that's the true Howler experience.
The true Howler experience. But on that note, thank you very much for joining us today, Vrin. It's been a pleasure to have you back. We can't leave it so long again. Please don't work on something that takes you away for a long time. And we'll get you back on very soon to talk about things. Maybe a couple of weeks after the launch, we could have an update on some Howler statistics or something. That would be awesome.
Sounds good. And thank you so much for having me. Thank you everyone in chat for the questions. And I just wanted to say, even though I am like super excited myself, I just also wanted to say a big thank you to the whole team that's working on it. Because they're doing an amazing job and the Howler wouldn't be there where it is right now and where it hopefully will be very soon without everyone involved. So
absolutely. Yeah, I suppose that's important. Like Vrin is being the face for today, but there is a whole team working on the Howler coming together, and yeah, it's nearly time, everyone. Nearly time. So we're gonna say goodbye to Vrinsado now, and start getting ready for the next part of the stream. We'll see you later, Vrin. Thank you for your time.
yeah, bye.
And before we get ready to talk about the next section of the show, which will be the technical updates section, I would like to talk to you all about the creator program. So the creator program is currently running. We're currently processing the final applicants for the January February applicants who will be in the program at the moment. Those will be processed. I think we'll get probably one wave processed tomorrow and one done on Monday. So I think that's probably going to be the final waves though now. After that, applications will open for the season 3 launch period. So from next week, watch out for our announcement somewhere on the socials that we will be opening the applications for season 3. If you want to be in the know before everyone else about the upcoming things, you should sign up to our newsletter. Head on over to the cycle.game where you can find the registration form. It's really easy. You just need to find the form, convince the computer that you're not a robot, and you too can get our newsletter. Not only do you get all of the latest information about the upcoming beats, you also get, when we do special promotions, you will get them first through the newsletter. So we did one round of codes with the Frosty Frontier Fest, and there will be more like that in the future. Also, check out our socials, of course. Did I make a socials command? I thought about doing it. I did think about doing it, but I don't think I actually did it. So if you want, yeah. Oh boy, yeah, there they all come. Whoops. I'm actually not even sure if I turned the bot on. Can someone do an exclamation mark Twitter? Let's see, just how badly have I messed up this one? I'm sure it's all fine. Everything's fine. Okay, no, Twitter works. Okay, so the bot is on at least. Thank you. So yeah, check out Twitter. Reddit also has a command, and so does the Discord. Discord is probably one of the best places to stay up to speed alongside the newsletter. It's where all of our news gets posted first up. Let's see. Yeah, I think that's everything. Oh, this month's competition for the creator program will be the HyperX headphone microphone bundle. The HyperX Cloud Alpha headset, Alpha S, and the HyperX Quadcast microphone. So do go and check those out. If you haven't signed up already, go and sign them up. Go and sign up. I think there's a command called like creator, maybe creator. That might be it. And I'm inspired. A Vasco's mum command that definitely needs to happen, but not today. Today we are going to get ready for the next part of the stream. Technical updates.
Are you tired of this happening to you?
Cheaters again!
Then we have a solution for you. The Cycle Frontier Anti-Cheater Spray. This spray instantly removes and foams 99.9% of cheaters. And this is no ordinary spray. It's safe to spray on keyboards, monitors, and even PCs.
No, don't.
All you do is grab, aim, point, and spray.
And thanks to the Cycle's anti-cheater spray, I finally get to see my children again.
But wait, there's more. Order within the next 20 minutes and get your free leaf link. Plus, if you ever hit that final nasty 0.01%, we'll compensate you for any losses, a deal you won't find anywhere else. Order your anti-cheat spray now by following the link on the screen or in the description. All orders to be sent with Season 3 on March 29th. Imagine your happiness around friends and family with the power of TCF anti-cheat spray.
Cheater withdrawal symptoms often involve overly happy players, long, extensive gaming sessions, and malnourishment due to addiction. Until you know how cheater withdrawal affects you, use caution when driving or operating machinery. Anti-cheat sprays cannot be used in other games, only works on Fortuna 3. Talk to your doctor to find out if TCF anti-cheat spray is right for you.
And welcome back. Hey, Toast, good to have you.
Hello, how's it going?
Oh, it's going great. You really did a number on me turning up in chat as Moldy Toast. I was
Yeah, sorry, I kind of confused you there.
Yeah, no, it took me a second. It wasn't until I said it and said Moldy Toast. I was like, oh, hang a minute, is that Toast?
It sounded familiar.
So yeah, welcome to the stream. Toast is our anti-cheat community manager. Today they're not just talking us about anti-cheat, which was just featured in the little promo skit we did there, but also technical updates in general, sort of like the things that we have seen on the way to Season 3, and maybe some new things as well. So let's start with anti-cheat. Toast, what's the word?
Yeah, so depending on when people played last, obviously Season 1 had quite a bit of issues with cheaters, but we've made quite a few improvements since then. I think for a lot of players it's in a pretty good state now, from what people tell me. Personally, I am seeing a lot less on my end as well, so it seems quite a bit better. We've added quite a few systems. We added a cheat compensation system, which I think is probably what the players are biggest fan of. That will give you back your the gear you went into a raid with if you were killed by a cheater who got banned. Added ping restrictions. Those don't directly stop cheaters, but they can help make the experience a bit less messy when people are abusing high ping. The shielded matchmaking system, which players call trusted matchmaking, essentially is a system to try to deter alt accounts, which was a big problem we had in Season 1. It wasn't actually that we couldn't ban cheaters, it was that when we would ban a cheater, it was very easy for them to just get right back in because of how easy it is to make a Steam account. So that system was what we used to address that, and now for most players who are in the trusted matchmaking, shielded matchmaking, whatever you want to call it, that's gotten a lot better. I've noticed a huge improvement there. That's probably the most impactful change we've added to the game.
Yeah, I think most people we speak to that have been playing regularly say it's kind of night and day.
Yeah, it certainly feels that way on my end as well. Definitely have a lot less people I need to ban every day.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. But yeah, we've also made improvements to the in-game report system, which also had a pretty great. We noticed a lot on our end that worked quite well. Players seem much quicker to send reports now, which is great because more data for us is always awesome. And obviously, we always have improvements pretty much every patch. We have some more improvements coming next patch in 2.8. Can't really tell you what they are. Secrets, but every patch we're usually making tweaks to the anti-cheat. And then obviously working with BattleEye, they've been great to work with for the software side of things, detecting malicious software on people's PCs. But yeah, things have been going quite good. The anti-cheat side of things, I must say. Been
Yeah,
very happy with it.
I remember there was a video with the executive producer Jonathan Lindsay, and one of the things that he said was that the collaboration with Batleye actually really helped us get better at tackling anti-cheat, right? Like they really
Yeah.
helped us like kind of develop the whole thing.
Yeah, they very much work in tandem with us. They've given us advice on how to improve our own systems, and we've been able to send things their way to help improve their own detections as well in our game. So they're really nice to work with, honestly.
You love to see it, right? So
Yeah.
for the I guess for the people in chat who maybe I'm seeing a lot of love in chat, by the way, for you. Some people who are praising the cheating compensation system. Others that are talking about just how transparent we're being with, I guess, the war on cheaters and stuff. I've seen some people comparing. We won't go into it, but it's,
Yeah.
you know, I've seen some comparisons as well.
I've seen the
It's always,
comparisons too.
yeah. It
It's
feels
not
good.
easy. It's not easy out there in the FPS game space right now. Cheating technology has come pretty far, and it's a constant arms race for game developers to keep up what cheaters are up to. So glad it seems like right now we're kind of ahead of the curve to some extent.
Yeah, of course, yeah, and some people have also said in the chat as well, it's never going to be a battle that we've won indefinitely, right? It's going to be an ongoing thing.
Yeah.
I mean, we've done pretty great so far, and I think we're pretty committed to that.
Yeah, and I just think it's a lot less common to meet a cheater now, and even when you do meet a cheater, it obviously always sucks, but having the compensation system, for me personally, at least, it's like, well, at least I'll be getting my shit back. Like, it's not the end of the world. Whereas before, it can really suck when you have really good gear, lose it to a cheater, and then feel like you're never going to get that back.
Absolutely, yeah. It's I think that's probably one of the nicest things. 'Cause I don't think anyone else does that, right? The compensation. I suppose it's kind of a
Not
unique
to my
problem to the
knowledge.
extraction genre.
Yeah, I mean, some games wouldn't benefit from that, but I don't think any other extraction type games use that, to my knowledge.
Yeah, feels good. Feels good.
Yeah.
I'm trying to keep up with chat, but it's moving pretty quick up on the Twitch chat's moving really fast, and YouTube chat's still honing in on the WWE 2K21 Esports World Champion. Okay, no, I don't think I'm gonna ask about Bazzy Nerf. So can you
Well,
go through?
we are making changes to the Bazzi and the Brute uh, in the next patch. I don't think we said when the date is for that patch, though. So I can't give you an exact date, but we know that those guns have been something people have been
Interesting.
unhappy with. So.
Toast with the tea over here. I didn't know you even knew that sort of stuff. I don't. That's cool.
Keep up with the deets, yeah.
Yeah, you've got your finger on the pulse. Love to see it. So I've seen some people asking about like people getting into new games, teaming up with cheaters, getting into like how new accounts are treated. Can we talk a little bit about how shielded matchmaking kind of works?
Yeah, so
obviously I know it's tricky
I can't give
waters,
exact
but
details, but essentially the idea behind the system is to try to determine if an account is an alt account. It doesn't really determine if an account is suspicious of being a cheater. It's more just to try to deter people who make a brand new Steam account, hop right in the game, and often cheat. Unfortunately, it's the reality of a lot of those accounts. Um, it's a way to deter those. So it looks at things like your platform history, like purchase history and stuff, and activity. So generally speaking, most players, the moment they first get in the game, are trusted. I don't know an exact number, but pretty high portion of players, the moment they boot up the game, they should be trusted by default. And then for those that aren't, um, this is kind of like what we added as a last resort. But for players who, for whatever reason, the system doesn't trust them quite yet, we've made sure that anyone who has ever made a purchase in the game or supported the game will be trusted as well by default. Just as a backup of like, we don't want people who support the game to be stuck in untrusted matchmaking, right? But generally speaking, most players are trusted by default for the most part.
Fantastic. Now, we didn't just come to talk about the anti-cheat, right? You also have some other things to tell us about, like the FTUE. There's going to be some changes.
Yeah, I'll say the acronym out loud because a lot of people don't know what it means. The first time user experience, basically what players will experience when they first boot up the game.
Mhm.
It will impact people who have already played and are coming into the new wipe, but we also have changes that are specifically for people who have never tried the game before and are entering for the first time. I guess a big part is we are heavily changing the early game tutorial experience, I guess you could call it, and like the early quest experience.
Mhm.
So putting more of an emphasis on showing players concepts like looting, PvP, selling items, things that we've noticed some players don't quite grasp immediately and they get really confused,
Mhm.
as well as just kind of easing players into the experience a bit more. We noticed that a lot of early game quests, there would be some players who they would drop in and they wouldn't complete any of their early game quests and they'd die. And that's for someone who's brand new to the game, that feels bad.
Yeah,
So
right.
we've worked on trying to make those early game quests pretty simple to complete so that it can ease players into the questing experience and get the ball rolling a bit. Um, so I think it should work pretty good, honestly. I'm excited for it. And then let me think. Uh, Another big one. This will affect all players, but it's also something that we noticed a lot of new players weren't a fan of. Was the squad size separation. Uh, in particular, on Bright Sands, we're going to make it very strict, where solos only play with solos, duos only play with duos, trios only play with trios. That's already in the game right now to some extent, but
Mhm.
we're going to probably be making tweaks even more so in season 3, uh, probably on other maps as well to make that a bit more strict, just to make it feel a bit more fair when people get into fights and it doesn't feel completely helpless.
Mhm.
Um, because those changes that we've implemented already in season 2, players have responded really well to. So we're pretty excited to tweak it even more and go more in that direction.
Yeah, and we also have played with the matchmaking a little bit, right? Is that kind of, are we doing more of that for season 3?
Yeah, we've already made changes to it. So our matchmaking used to be based on average loot extract. But the problem we noticed with that was there were some players who were really ratty, who avoided fights and would just go around picking up all this awesome loot. So they'd get a really high loot extract value, but they weren't actually very good at PvP. So we ended up switching the system to be more KD based currently, and we so far that's been pretty good. I think most players have been pretty happy with that, but we are planning on making more adjustments to take that a bit further, to try to make it more skill based, so that you're going against players who feel like an even match and not if you're brand new to the game, not going up against a Chad, or if you're a really good player, not just stomping people in white gear all day. So I think we'll be getting even more changes for that in season 3 as well.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. I remember. Do you remember the stream I did where I forgot that I would be put back in beginner matchmaking, and like it took a couple of games for me to kind of
Where is everyone?
stop killing Timmys. Yeah, I imagine that would be so much. So
Yeah.
look, I'm not being called out. Rats, it couldn't be me. Okay, it couldn't be me. But yeah, I mean it only sounds good. So
Yeah,
KD,
so
the
far
only.
we've already made changes, and so far players seem really happy with them. But we're going to take them a step further with season 3 as well.
Okay, cool.
And then
Uh,
yeah, I guess
yeah.
there's
What else
more
you got?
stuff to talk about.
Yeah.
We've already touched on the free loadout runs previously. I don't know if someone's
Uh-huh.
going to touch on those in today's stream, or is it just me? I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's just little old you. We had the whole
Okay.
asset for it a while back.
Yeah, we had it in a previous stream as well, but I'll briefly touch on it. It's there are these loadouts that are given to you by the factions
Mhm.
that uh they're just free loadouts. You get what you get. They're very random. It could be complete trash, but it could be some pretty good stuff as well. You can get blue gear from them, and they're basically pretty mediocre loadouts, but if you can manage to drop down with them and then extract, you'll get to keep what you were given. And it's a great way for if you're really poor or if you have a lot of gear fear. It's a great way to just have these low risk um, loadouts that you don't have to worry about, and you can just YOLO to a match. I think that will be really good for new players, especially who aren't used to this genre of game. Easing them into the experience of getting loot and then losing loot, maybe giving them a bit of a trip feed too to help keep them from going totally bankrupt, which I've seen happen to a few players. So yeah, I'm pretty. That's probably the feature. I mean, I care about new players, and for me, that's one of the features I'm most excited for because I think it will make the experience a lot better for them.
Yeah, of course. And I mean that's also something that we've kind of I think heard a bit about as well, right? Is the that that whole experience.
Yeah.
My words have gone, but you know what
Fun
I
game.
mean. Yeah. Uh, and then I see lots of questions. I'm making mental notes. I'm going to ask some of these in a minute. We'll be getting to question time in just a moment. But before we do, we want to talk about performance and stability.
Sure, yeah. Go through my notes. So, well, we already have the reconnect feature. Not sure if we're making improvements to that or not. I don't want to make that call, but that's essentially the feature that when you get disconnected or crash, it can usually help get you back into the game. Totally foolproof, but I think for a lot of players, it's been nice to have that as a backup instead of just immediately losing your stuff. And then obviously just general backend performance improvements will obviously be coming with season 3 too. I don't know the exact details, to be honest. I'm not one of the people that works on those systems, but you know, the usual stuff, bug fixes, performance increases, etc. Sorry, I can't get much more detail than that, but
Yeah, no, that's totally fine. Absolutely fine. We do. I mean, there's been a bunch of stuff already between season 1 and season 2. That's
yeah, it's one of those things. It's like the anti-cheat improvements where generally almost every patch there's going to be a few things slipping in just to polish things up a bit. So with
yeah.
season 3, there will definitely quite a bit more of those.
Okay. Are you ready to take some questions from chat? You ready?
Totally. Yeah.
I've seen some hard ones. I think there's going to be there could be some fun ones in here. The first one that I've seen a couple of times that people are asking is around the matchmaking and specifically about getting back into the same raid repeatedly.
I can't comment on what exactly will be coming for that, but I know it's definitely on our radar. I don't want to say we are doing X because I honestly don't know. I'm sure someone knows. If someone is in chat that knows on the dev team, tell us. But yeah, I know that's on our radar. It is a concern of ours. Part of it is due to the fact that the game's towards the end of a wipe right now, and it's at low population. I do think that issue, even without any changes, will get quite a bit better with season 3, just with the influx of players coming in. But regardless, it's definitely on our radar. About all I can say, though.
Absolutely. Thank you for touching on it. Another, I've seen a bunch of. I mean, honestly, when you revealed about the whole like nerf buff info, that's
everyone's freaking out about
yeah,
that.
oh yeah. There's been all sorts of suggestions. From what I understand, we want to buff the knife, nerf the core.
Well, and just to be clear, we're not completely reworking or gutting any weapons, but we know that the Brute especially has been a bit on the powerful side right now, especially in terms of how much range it has. So that should definitely be getting some changes soon.
Any updates to the armor?
Yes. I don't know balance wise. I know with season 3, obviously we're going to no wipes, so we are going to be making a lot of economy adjustments to try to make the game a bit more sustainable for a no wipe economy. I mean, obviously there's optional wipes, but there will be less wiping happening. happening. So we're making some changes to try to make things like armor a bit less sustainable than they are currently. Currently, like repair costs and stuff are pretty negligible. I know stuff like that is on our, but in terms of balance, honestly, we've been pretty. I think we've been relatively happy with the balance of armor. I mean, it's maybe not perfect, but it seems like for the most part, the diminishing returns of as you go up the tiers has worked pretty okay for most players. I know some of our highest tier players in the chat. I see you,
Yeah.
Baxter.
Yeah.
Wish it would be much more powerful, but what we see for the average player or a lot of our players is they're actually they feel like the high tier armor is intimidating but not completely unbeatable, which is honestly kind of what we want. We don't want players that you go up against to feel completely unbeatable. Um, Perhaps in the future with more matchmaking changes, we could consider extending that curve a bit more, but at least currently, we're relatively happy with where things are at.
Yeah, of course. And I mean, we're really speculating at this point, right? Because we don't. There's with the new economy. I mean, there could be a lot of things that we do.
Yep.
I'm speaking deliberately this vaguely because I don't want to.
I don't
want to
give too
hint
many
at
details
anything.
either.
Yeah, I don't even want to hint at anything because I know that people will be like, "Oh, confirmed. We're gonna, I don't know, take some mechanic from something else that I might mention."
We're gonna add the
offhandedly."
haze back.
Yeah, right. So it's not even leaks. It's just me being cautious in case you
Yeah.
think there's leaks. Justice. That's where I'm at right now. So yeah, it's interesting. I think there's going to be a lot of updates. I think didn't we have some more questions? If people could post their questions again, that would be.
Oh no, now everyone's talking about the haze. I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, you see, this is what happens. You talk about one thing, and then everyone talks about it. I mean, this is more about inventory and things. Oh, here we go. Here's one. I know you're the anti-cheat manager, but perhaps you can answer. Is it feasible for the team to implement something that compensates us for losses due to the random disconnects?
In a perfect utopian world, yes. Unfortunately, in the world we currently live in, it's very easy to fake a disconnect by deliberately sabotaging your own internet, or you can make these kind of macros that will deliberately disconnect you. So it would be very difficult to find a way to implement it in a way that wouldn't be very easy to use. So currently, no, there's no plans to do that. But if there is some magical here, hey.
Do we have cat action? We lost you a little bit there.
Yeah, my dog's barking.
Your dog? I've actually lost you. I can't hear you now.
Can you hear me?
You're breaking up a little bit.
Oh.
We need the reconnect feature.
Give me one moment.
Oh, there we go. That's better already.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, yes, we can. Yes. Woo!
My dog decided now's a great time to freak out. So.
Okay. Okay. People
hear her.
asking to show dog, but also there is a question. Someone's asking about the meta being spamming grenades, smoke grenades specifically. I guess the question here is there are we doing anything to kind of combat that, to mix up the PvP a bit?
Possibly.
Yeah,
that's a bit out of my territory, I think.
Yeah, yeah. I suppose
I've heard the complaints about smoke grenades in their current state, but I can't really say if we have any active plans to change them. I will show my dog if she stops barking at whatever is outside. She went to another room.
Yeah. Just to re-clarify, everyone, Toast may have known a little bit of source about the upcoming patch notes that we did not expect. So, but the main things that we can talk to Toast about are definitely the anti-cheat technical updates and questionably the performance and stability improvements. So we kind of petered out on that one really quickly. So maybe less of those.
Sorry. I should have done more research. That's the one I've heard the least about. I know there's changes coming, but I don't quite know exactly what they are.
Absolutely.
Someone did bring up the smoke grenades mixed with mineral scanners. Definitely on our radar. What we had originally was, for a while, that wasn't really being abused very much at all. It was a very niche edge case sort of thing. So for us, we were actually okay with um, sort of repurposing the mineral scanner and making that just like an accepted part of it. But we've seen recently how much it's being abused. It's not something we ban players for. It's just part of the game right now. But we are looking into potentially making changes to it um, to try to possibly address that. We'll see. We're gonna still in the brainstorming stage on that one, but yeah, we've seen the complaints about it, so it's something we're looking into.
Fantastic. Thank you. Can we scroll up a little bit on Twitch chat? I saw one that I wanted to ask Toast up there. I think it was from Odin Borson. Yeah, there we go. What has been the most difficult thing to overcome since the season 1? Well, let's name it the cheating problem that we had the huge issue, right? What's been the most difficult thing?
Honestly, dealing with the alt accounts was probably the hardest thing. Especially from my end, I would ban somebody and I could see an alt account show up not long after. Obviously, I could just keep banning them, but it wasn't much of a deterrent for those players. So creating the shielded matchmaking system was probably the hardest thing to come up with a solution for, but also it had the biggest impacts, in my opinion, adding cheaters, because it's made it so that if they want to make it into the, I guess, core player base and play with the shielded players, they either have to get their hands on some older legitimate Steam accounts, or they have to just buy their way in, which it doesn't work great for them if they do it over and over and over again. So it's been super effective, and personally, that was probably the biggest achievement I think we've had coming up with that system.
Yeah, and if people do use one of these workarounds to try and get in and cheat, how quickly are we detecting them and removing them at the moment?
I don't know the exact number off the top of my head, but generally in the first couple of hours, usually, almost always within the first 24 hours for most of them, especially like I guess what you'd call the rage hackers. Those ones are pretty quick to catch. Um, yeah, that's generally the time. And really, with things like the shielded system, because obviously there are ways to work around it, but really the goal was to make the process much more tedious. And now every single time they work around the system, um, it compounds. Every time we ban one of their accounts, it gets more and more tedious for them to keep making a new account and then buying their way or finding some other workaround. So it's really the long con.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, I suppose the new Cycle Frontier anti-cheat spray really helps. It must make
Exactly.
your
Yeah.
life easier.
That was actually probably the biggest achievement. Who knew, right? Just spraying some liquid on your computer. But
We've also just been raided. Welcome in, raiders. Thank you for the raid, Electra. Nice to see you. Um, mm, 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 mm. There's okay, so there we go. If we're talking about like how having a cheater on your team affects which lobbies you get into, can you shed some light on that?
having a cheater on your team, I mean, you can get banned for that.
Well,
I,
yeah,
I
of course,
I
but
do
I mean,
ban
like,
players for that. If you mean, do you mean being an untrusted on your team?
yeah, I mean, let's try and give everyone the benefit of the doubt and say that they're not trying to like figure out how to cheat in the game, and they're saying that if
Oh,
I
like
don't know, you go looking
accidentally.
for group, yeah, and you end up with a
Oh,
cheater in
yeah,
your
no,
team or
you wouldn't
something.
get in trouble for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do our due diligence and make sure that it seems intentional when people are playing with cheaters or, making suspicious trades, those kind of things. But yeah, we do
Yeah, of
keep our
course.
eye out for that sort of thing because we know that some people pay for carries and stuff like that. So we want to catch them.
Of course. There are a lot of requests for the doggo.
I don't know where she went. She barked at something and ran out of the room. I'm sorry.
Just keeping them all hanging on.
If I find her, I will pull her onto the camera. Here, hold on. I'll call for her. I'll mute my mic real quick.
No, it's all going. Okay, no, you've started a riot now on Twitch at least. Shinasu, the anti-cheat spray on sale when? I mean, I think it was it
It's
was
our
in that video, right?
proprietary spray. It's our secret formula.
So it's a secret formula. I think all the details you need are on the YouTube advert. Pretty sure.
And also, I called for her, and I don't know where she is. She didn't come.
Oh, well.
Not obedient.
Hey, no judgment.
Yeah.
It's all good. So, yeah, lots of requests for the doggo, but not so many requests for
That's really
like
the
anti-cheat
conversation.
questions. Yeah, we found chat's passion. It's doggos, not anti-cheat. I guess it's one of those things we just want to work.
Also, they're saying they want to get rid of me so they can see the station. I'm seeing a lot of those as well.
Wow, wow, that's not cool.
Yeah.
Not
I feel
cool.
so hurt by that chat. So mean.
Yeah. Toast toils away, banning those cheaters. That's a good question actually. How is the
See doggo.
Chat, it's happening. It's happening.
Doggo.
We have doggo.
Doggo. She hates being held like this. There you go, chat. Here's your doggo.
You'd love to see it. Beautiful.
What was your question? I got derailed.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about how the processes have been for you, because obviously there was a time when you were doing a lot of like manual bans, and I'm wondering if that's still the case, if it's still mostly manual, or if you've got better systems to help you detect and kind of auto ban.
Yeah, I mean those systems have improved. A lot of it's with BattlEye as well too. I don't really want to give exact details on like what exactly is happening behind the scenes, like what is manual and what isn't, but yeah, I mean I'm still doing manual bans every day because I want to make sure we catch them all, but a good chunk of them are automatic as well. And like I said, we have more changes coming. Actually, next patch we have some more auto detections coming, so always adding to it.
Of course. And for those of you in chat who are talking about cheats that are going on, please always make sure that you report cheaters that you encounter. Use the in-game reporting tool. It's one of the things we're talking about today, is how we've kind of improved that over the last few months. And that is the catch-all, I would say. That is the like last line of defense. If all of the defenses don't quite work, then imagine Toast toiling away at his desk, going through the cheat reports and making making the being the last line. So
yeah, there's also the on our Discord channel. It's called the Reports and Appeals channel. You don't really need to use that if you're just filing a normal report, but I know some of you out there are live streamers or YouTubers or whatever and record video. If you ever have video of a cheater that you want to send our way, it's the perfect place to do it. Please don't send it in my DMs because I probably won't see it. I just don't have time. But that channel is viewed by several members of the team, so we can usually get to that channel pretty quickly.
What was the channel name again?
It's just Reports and Appeals in the Discord server.
Reports and Appeals on the official Discord server. If someone can put a Discord command in chat for me, that would be fantastic. I think Brie is kind of saying instructions unclear. She's asking if everyone should DM you. There's been a crossed wire here.
Yeah, please don't. Especially, I got sick at the beginning of the year, and ever since then, I've been struggling to catch up with the huge backlog I got during that time. So there's a good chance your message might not get seen. Sorry.
Yeah, there was. Yeah, no, I remember there was a kind of a time. I can kind of judge it by how much slip over there is into like my DMs, because obviously I'm like the content creator manager. Like I can't ban anyone for you, chat. I'm sorry. But like when things get really busy, there's a lot of like, yeah, a lot of the messages that should really go to you or someone else.
They
I think
get
they just
desperate
start.
and start coming to you.
Yeah, they just start anyone online. Yeah. So yeah, cool. Uh, I think. Sorry, I was DMing Toast. Did I miss anything important?
Thank you.
Oh no, I've done it now.
Yeah.
Berea is saying the clarification is to DM me. I mean, I suppose you can. I won't say no. Letzifer, I see your comment. Make sure you're using the reporting tool, and we'll get them. Usually within around 24 hours. So, please make sure you report those cheaters when you do encounter them. I unfortunately will have to let you all know that the thing currently kind of going through chat there, we're not going to be talking about today. That's give you more in the future.
Oh, the thing being spammed. I see it.
Yeah. No news on that today.
I won't be able to talk about
Kissam,
that either because
Cypherus?
I just don't know. I know someone does. Yeah, I'm not the person
Yeah.
to ask about that. Someone asked if we do
Yeah.
hardware bans or IP bans.
That's true.
We do hardware ID bans. We don't do IP bans because at this point with modern day VPNs and stuff, it's so incredibly easy to circumvent them that they're basically pointless. And what we found was because of VPNs and stuff, a lot of innocent players would find themselves blocked out of the game from IP bans. So we just don't bother doing them because they really did more harm than good. But we will do hardware ID bans. The thing to keep in mind is there's really no ban method that's foolproof. If someone is tech savvy enough and knows what they're doing, it's very easy to spoof pretty much anything that's on a PC. So there's really no tell that we can look for that will say, yes, this is this person, unless we start asking for your government ID or something, which we're not going to do. So yeah, we do stuff like that. It just it's not a foolproof way to stop people.
Okay, yeah. I mean, there's more questions on that, but it's getting like really specific now. Like, what's the difference between an IP ban and a hardware ID ban?
Yeah, I mean, IP is just like your internet, what you connect with. Hardware ID is kind of a general term to refer to. It looks at the components of your PC and tries to figure out exactly. It's like a digital fingerprint, I guess, for your PC. But like I said, people who know what they're doing can find ways around stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely. I say pretending that I know all about hardware bans and IP bans. I have no idea, but you say it with confidence, so I believe you. I trust you.
Yeah, exactly.
I
I
saw
don't
someone
actually know what
earlier.
I'm talking about. I just pretending I do.
You've just got a really reassuring voice. That's the thing. I saw someone earlier saying they want their audiobook read by you. So if you're on like, I don't know, Fiverr or anything, maybe hook them up with a link so they can.
Yeah, maybe I should start doing Cameo or whatever.
Something, you know, like it seems like there's a market. Toast ASMR channel when. Can we scroll up a little bit on Twitch chat for a second? I think I just saw no, a little bit higher, a little bit higher. Give me a bit more. I did see one that looked nope. Maybe did I imagine a good question? If I did, I wish I could remember it.
This one's a decent
Not
question.
that I'm saying all your questions are awful. Oh, here we go. I was looking at Odin Borson. They were talking about a bit more about Batleye and asking if they were worth it. They're comparing and they're not sure how good Batleye is.
Yeah, so there's a bit of confusion among gamers as to what exactly anti-cheat software does. Stuff like Batleye, Easy Anti-Cheat, like Riot's Vanguard would be another one, though we don't have access to something like that. They don't really, their purpose isn't to be the whole package. They are a tool that the anti-cheat team for a game should use. So if we were to just slap just Batleye or just Easy Anti-Cheat on a game, it probably wouldn't be enough, which you can see in other games as well that try to do that. generally things like those softwares are what you would call software detection. So their purpose is to look at what's running on people's PCs and try to determine if they are running illegitimate software to tamper with the game. And for that purpose, I think it does a great job. I really like working with them. So I like them. I think they do a good job. But at the end of the day, uh, that can only go so far. It can't catch everything. So the rest of it has to be on us. So yeah. I feel like they get a bit of a bad rep because they're the name brand, I guess, for anti-cheat. So if a game has bad cheating problem, they usually get blamed for it. But um, like I said, they do a very specific thing and they do it well. So I think they're good to work with.
Yeah, absolutely, I agree. And I'm like I said, we mentioned earlier about how they've kind of helped us as well in like the full picture of like developing our anti-cheat things.
Yeah, they've
So
gone above and beyond. They've helped us with things that really aren't even what they were supposed to help us with, like developing our own tools. So I really have nothing but good things to say about them. They're a good team.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So nothing but good things about BattleEye you will find here. I said like Yoda for some reason. Well, well, Post, do you have anything else on anti-cheat or technical updates to share with us?
Keep sending reports. I wish I could talk about more stuff, like exactly how everything works, but anything I say can kind of be used against us. To some extent, you gotta keep it a bit secret so that cheaters don't know what's going on. Um, but yeah, I'd say just keep sending reports. That's really the biggest thing the community can do for us. And that's about it.
Well then, Toast, with that sign off, keep on sending in your reports, chat, and we'll leave you now, Toast. We will leave you to go and diligently ban those cheaters for us.
Sounds good.
Thank you for your service and your efforts. And
Thank you for having me.
we'll get ready for the next section of the toast. Of the toast? The next section of the toast. Am I hungry? So, well, no comment. No comment. Thank you, Toast. We'll speak to you soon. Okay. So, everyone, before we talk about this week's latest topic, the Prospect Station upgrades, I believe Victor will be joining us in the studio any moment. Someone give Toast Scrap some food, although we'll eat our anti-cheat manager. I mean, it's possible. It's possible. Let's go through a few things first. First of all, we currently have applications for the creator program. We're running through the last waves now. From next week, you'll be able to apply to be in the creator program around launch. And of course, as we do launch drops, we will be doing drops around launch, as we have done for the previous 2 seasons. So do get your applications in now. Well, actually not now, next week, but we'll probably look at the ones you supply now as well. Yeah, do it twice, why not? So do get on and apply to the creator program. This month's prize is provided by HyperX. You can find details on the website. The top 2 streamers in terms of viewership, engagement, and activity will receive a HyperX bundle of a headset and mic, the HyperX Quadcast S microphone, and the HyperX Cloud Alpha S headset in white and blue. So yeah, do go and sign up not for those prizes. We'll be finding out when those prizes are. We'll find out who won those prizes halfway through the month. We might, if you sign up today, you might get in on the last wave of applicants for this month. So do go for it. I think there's a command called like !creator or something like that you can use. to get into the, there we go, to find the creator program information. Over on YouTube, I don't think the bot works over on YouTube. I mean to speak with Justin to try and figure that out so that we can get both going. Maybe if we're lucky, a mod might pop in and post some links for you until we get that sorted out. You're here to receive news, of course. And if you like news, you might be interested in our newsletter. Head on over to thecycle.game, where you can sign up to the newsletter. All you need to do is find the form on the front page and convince the form that you are not a robot, and you will have access to the newsletter. The newsletter will give you all of the latest news around our latest releases, the roadmap leading up to Season 3 and Season 3 news. And also, you can you'll be the first to receive our codes. When we do events, we sometimes give away codes, and newsletter recipients tend to get codes first. So go and sign up for the newsletter. And of course, let's also highlight our socials. Twitter, Discord, and Reddit, each of which have their own command. And I see people like now chanting about the station. We will try and get onto that very, very quickly. I think we're actually going to take a quick be right back screen here. So hold on for a minute, chat. We will be right back after a short break, and we'll see you in a moment. Oh, hi everyone. Who's ready for the station? I don't know, chat's not moving too fast. Maybe we're not ready for the station just yet. Maybe we should, what, give it another 5 minutes? No? No? Okay. Roll it.
My city, my life, my home. A harbor that holds creatures of all kinds. A place where I can be myself. A home that I can come back to whenever I want.
Surrounded with friends, family, and robots is where I want to be. A close marketplace for all the goods you need. A life where hard work is appreciated.
Nestled in the best facilities and most trusted alliances. Gorgeous views from almost any window. A place where neighbors are like family.
This is where life takes me by the hand, where I can drop into happiness and freedom and enjoy it with all my heart.
This is a place where peace of mind is a piece of cake. This is how I want to live.
This is Prospect Station.
get ready to move into this exclusive environment on March 29th.
And welcome back, everyone, and welcome to the studio, Victor Janssen, our principal artist, working on the Prospect Station upgrades. Welcome.
Hey, nice to be here.
It's great to have you. So, can you tell us a little bit about the station? What's happening to it?
Yeah, so one of the main things was that with the station so far we had, there was some things that doesn't fit so much to the story. It was mainly about, okay, why we have the station and what's ongoing there. And there was this thing of, okay, why all these manufacturers ask us to bring up all the stuff as a player. And because it's, of course, to make the station alive, because it's falling apart. So that was the idea, and that's the reason why we're there, and that's the reason why we have to go down to the planet. And yeah, that didn't come across. So first time I saw the new station, I was back then on another project, and then I came back, and then I saw, oh, fuck, yeah, we have a station. That's awesome. Sorry.
It's all good.
And yeah, and then the other director said, yeah, but that's not what we want to have. We want to have more something. We want to have a feeling of being on a station while you're there. You want to see people working there. It's not just about prospectors. It's the whole station needs to stay alive. There are people living, and that's the reason why we want to communicate this to the players. Hey, the station is our home base, right? And so because what could we do about it? And first thing that was missing was living, except other players. You couldn't see anything. We had some static characters staying there, but there was nothing that felt like alive, not this wiped off Blade Runner, let's say.
Yeah.
Right, and we have people running around, people working on the station, who's running the station, and all these things. So we were looking for, okay, let's make the station feel really like a home base for the player, that you even want to be on the station after all your complicated missions and all the hard time you have on the planet, that you have some time to hang around there and to see what's ongoing. And that was the main idea about doing the upgrades for the station and putting in investments.
So I'm hearing that, like, we want to take it back to its kind of sci-fi roots and, like, back more in line with the vision, but also create a space that players want to hang out in between raids longer, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. We've teased some of the upgrades in the video that we released today. I know we're going to do another one on this in a couple of weeks as well to give even more. I guess we've sort of touched on why. Can we talk about what a little?
So what we did first was, of course, adding people that has jobs there.
Okay.
Other than the prospector. That was the first thing. So we need to get people that are running the station. So we added a lot of from all the manufacturers. So they have a lot of people that are just working on the station. They're not prospectors. So they need to repair stuff. They need to prepare stuff. They have to maintain all the drop pods. There are the robots that are there. Some prospectors just hanging around and planning the next big sessions they want to have and all that stuff. And it was the first thing. So guards. So actually, hey, there are a lot of people, a lot of prospectors, a lot of weapons. So actually, that could go wrong. So we need guards. We need for each section people that are just protecting, of course, everything there. And that was one thing. Then on the other side, we have a lot of robots that doing stuff. We have droids flying around. What else did we do? The whole faction identities, for example. So where that you have this hub for your faction, and this should really stick out. And that was another big thing. Let's say, okay, it should be really clear. Okay, that's this section, and that's their area. On the other side, it was also about showing, hey, there's life in the remaining thing that's around this player hub where he works. There's a whole station. So we had, not saying we implemented everything we wanted, and there's a long list of stuff we want to have for the station. Like even that I'm not allowed to say that because maybe the expectation is right. But what we want is, for example, so why we have just one air quarter, for example, right? So why there's not one day if I'm really successful, maybe I will want to live over there because they even have trees there and stuff like this. And that was basically the thing where we jumped in and then also added small things of things that just happening on the station. So you have every corner something to discover. You can just run around in the station. You see, okay, this guy is is repairing a glider. This guy is repairing a drop pod. You have still, of course, the bar and other things, and that was the thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Which part do you think will be like the most popular? Like, we've talked about the reworked faction stations and like all these little things going on around. Do you think there's anywhere in particular that people are going to be attracted to?
It's definitely just first feeling that there is life ongoing. There might be also upcoming things that we get access to. We don't want to spoil too much here because it's for the upcoming thing. But we're talking not a lot. Sure, if I lot of there will be definitely things also for players soonish enough that makes sense in terms of playing the game and coming back to the station to see that you might be a successful player, more successful than others. That's definitely planned. Of course, also just to have also a more interesting shop experience if you want to buy stuff that you can see the new stuff that's available, that and you might also meet other people and want to have it. And yeah, also just to get also the relationship to the game a bit more, the whole drop pod things that are now that you see, okay, hey, there's a ship coming back, it's landing, it's right there. Oh, okay, but there are all the drop pods, and they get sent to the planet. And yeah, I think for the player, I think it's just be more part of the whole story of the game, to feel more as something. Okay, I'm here to survive. Like everybody on the station is here to survive somehow. Of course, we want to be famous. Of course, we want to be successful. But first of all, we need somehow to make the station survive.
Yeah. I can feel you've got a lot of energy. How much time have you put into these like station upgrades?
Actually, when we started redoing the station was back then after finishing the work on the last level. So we had the chance to do this, right? And they said, okay, we're not entirely sure what's next. Can we do the station? So, and we were all super hyped about it because we want to have this. We want to have the feeling of this sci-fi dark future style, and so everybody had brainstormed ideas, and everybody had ideas, and then we had to, of course, to calm down with what we want to do and started with the most important stuff first. What was the question?
I was like I can feel your passion. Like, how much time have you put into this?
So I think, let's say it's not about. So I'm an artist, and I like most working with artists that do it because of passion. It's not about your time and even not money, not at all. and so you don't count your hours, right? So we worked on, I think it's the last 2 to 3 months, definitely, on bringing all these improvements in. But usually the guys that currently I worked with on that, it was usually even late in the night. So we have calls and we write, hey, what is that? Can we do that? Will they allow us to do this? Let's ask the producers. All right, it's already done. It's like, okay, cool. We did this. Oh wait, that wasn't planned. Yeah, but it's my time.
Yeah.
Sometimes like
lots of passion coming out of that department.
yeah, it's definitely. It was fun. It was really fun because the good thing also on the station is so you don't have these hardcore competitions there, right? You don't have gameplay. You cannot destroy a play experience there in terms of that the game is not working, but we can create experience for the players and just creating the environment they want to feel, and for us guys, it's all about loving this whole environment, this whole topic, this theme. It was just fun and it was pretty awesome. And hopefully it comes across. And that being said, it's also our plan is of course not stopping there. It's just it was the first try to improve the station, to bring it more into this feel of the game, and we want to continuously, of course, updating and bringing more experience, bringing more interesting things. Maybe let's see. I'm not sure. We're artists, so we of course we're talking a lot with the game designers, but of course there has also other priorities than always making our dreams come true. And also, of course, it's a community that also should like it. That we know, okay, if they like it, then we can go on and we will definitely not stop doing this. Of course, we work on maps. Of course, we will continue improving our existing maps. But the station is something that should be, from my opinion, I don't know what you guys think, a strong part of the game. So that's your hub, that's your home base, and
yeah, absolutely. We talk about like how it does, like the station is kind of separate from the main gameplay, but one area that is quite tied is the player quarters with the upgrades and the generators and stuff like that. Are there any updates to that area?
Not yet.
Okay.
So I have to be honest about it. We had to pick our battles, but it's definitely on our list that as more the player progress, you can also progress on the station, and maybe there's also a nice equation about. I want also to upgrade this game to upgrade my spot. Not saying like Sims or so, but maybe.
Well, yeah, you know, like
yeah, maybe one day, maybe
yeah,
one day
I mean,
you can buy a new couch if it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's of course that's not the point. The point is really about we would also like to have the progress visible somehow on the station. And yeah, I also know where you're pointing at.
Yeah. You know, I love having shiny things to hang up. One of the things that because I know the fantasy is like the station's kind of run down and stuff, right? But whenever I go into my player quarters and I see all the mess, all the pizza boxes and the unmade bed, I start getting itchy, and I'm like, I just want to clean. I just want to clean my apartment, you know? Like...
Yeah. Yeah, I like the apartment.
It's beautiful.
I just think, honestly, I think in my opinion is when you start playing the game, you shouldn't have such a fancy apartment.
It's true.
You should share a room with other prospectors that are just make it. But that's just my personal opinion. And yeah, who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe one day you make it to the upper circle there, where you
suite.
have a really big building, just yours, because you're the most successful prospector on the stage.
Yeah, natürlich, yeah. Okay, so this one comes up every time we talk about the station. People always ask, will there be mini games? Because there's the pool table in the bar. Is this something that might be coming?
Yeah, I think we all agree on the game is the most important stuff in general. And once we are there, where everybody is happy, we will think about adding mini games. Might be true, but actually there's not. There are things like also I know there's of course some obvious things that currently are missing. And I have also to just when I rejoined the project was the first thing I built just for myself to get a better understanding about the game, building a shooting range. So something super obvious that we need. And I also have a working shooting range. But of course, everybody needs to understand this needs to work not just for me, it needs to work for all the players out there. And there you need a lot of people testing and all the stuff. And then the priority is in that moment smaller. But that is something just if you ask me as an artist not being part of the project, let's imagine, yeah, that would be also my first thing that we definitely should have, because it's not that hard. But on the other side, yeah, we need a lot of people then to test that it works in the way we want, that makes sense for the players. Yeah. And there, of course, a question that needs to be asked that are really hardcore game design. And just because me as an artist want to have this, of course, it makes a lot of trouble for other people that currently more need to focus on the core things of the game.
Of course, yeah. One of those things maybe that seems easy, but when you actually weigh the cost,
it's actually important to understand where are these things. And of course, we have all our prototypes already prepared. It's just a question of time and picking them.
Yeah. Lots of passion, lots of energy. Shall we take a minute and give chat some time to ask some questions? Chat. We have the principal artist with us. I'm not sure if I haven't been looking at chat much, to be honest. Have we got many? So we've got. Can we get the Quick Shop Market guy to be an actual auction house community? Oh, that's more like a gameplay thing. Maybe we'll reconsider with the new economy about doing in-game trading, but at the moment I think it's still like a big I don't know. It's a big rabbit hole to go down. See a lot of people saying parkour station.
I mean, isn't it something that usually players try to exploit by themselves.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, off the record, I can try to build some secret places, and hopefully nobody.
Well, because there were some deliberate places in the old version of the station, like where you get up the top there and you find the little creature by the door. You know?
Yeah, and it's how artists sometimes work. No, there it's definitely it's always a thing to think about doing these things. It's on the other side, it's if you do, especially with Easter eggs, right? As long as there are things that the community also wants that we should solve issues, then of course that's way more important than doing something funny by the side, and that's
yeah.
But of course, we're all just not grown-up kids, the opposite. So we're still kids. We all have this. We all want to do these things. So
I mean, yeah. If you guys are up late doing like art and crazy stuff, and
we're laughing so often while brainstorming and talking about stuff. And sometimes it's easy. Sometimes just somebody presents something. That, hey, that's my idea for that. We even haven't talked about, and then sometimes it's so good. So who should say no? That's already done, and then we bring this in. There are things, but as soon there is something, there are dependencies, and other people need them to fix this and make it working, then of course it's not possible. And that's always a balance we have to deal with.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So parkour, let's see, try it out. Maybe you find the secret parkour track.
Secret parkour track confirmed. No, I didn't. I need a movie theater. There's all sorts of things going on here. People asking about open VoIP. Console release. We won't be talking about anything like that today. Check out the command. The console's coming at some point. Is check out the roadmap. We'll give you some more news there. Okay, so there's one. How about like the shopping experience in the Prospect Station? Will they be able to? Will these changes allow people to buy everything they want in one place, or?
I mean, that's also a topic we have when we're talking about. So that's also one of the things, other than most of the station works, the shop thing is something we're still in progress. How we want to do it. So we have a lot of ideas. That's being said. We're not entirely sure. We would like definitely to make things more attractive to players. That's for sure. But then it's exactly what I'm saying there. It's not just us artists how we want to present stuff. Then we're talking again about how we implement this, how can we make this always up to date, and
I suppose with something like
definitely what we want to do. We want to make the stuff we have in the shop. We want to have it in the station. We want to make it nice and appealing to the players. That's for sure, and we're already on that. But there is nothing currently settled yet. It's still something we're still working on.
Yeah, I suppose especially that is one of those things as well that requires a syncing with a lot of other teams, like the user interfaces and all of that.
Yeah, exactly like that.
So.
That's also how to get from technically from a web shop technically, how to get the actual offer into our art station.
Yeah, of course.
You need to connect there, of course. Yeah, but we're definitely talking about this. We're aware of that, and it's also, of course, if you see it there, then you might even more attracted to buy it if you like it, and it's presented in a cool way, maybe.
You heard him, Jack. Go buy it. You heard him. Go buy it. That one I know stuff about, but I can't talk about now. Can we scroll down a little bit, please? We'll take one more question, I think. One more question, and then we'll wrap up the show today. It's got to be Prospect Station related though. So first, Prospect Station create a. No, keep going. Keep going. Oh, there we go. Okay. What about so there's two questions there actually that I think are pretty good. The first one is, will there be any weather effects in the station, like different weathers? I suppose that's hard. Space, but
yeah, weather effects. Yeah, it's based technically doesn't have.
I'm thinking of that. There was a movie. I can't remember what it was. I think it was an.
There might be asteroids coming close, and good idea. Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe bring something.
Maybe this is dangerous. You could inspire.
Or maybe we have. I was thinking about it. And that's usually how it starts. Somebody comes with a question, and then people start, yeah, no, wait, yeah, maybe
we can...
Oh, well, if you're just simulating day-night cycles at a station. So, I mean, of course.
That's what I was thinking about straight away. I'm sure there's been like movies.
Okay, we're going to think about this. I will bring
Yeah,
stuff.
have a think. Yeah. and then this one, which I think is also is what's the next priority for like the artists after this overhaul? If you can reveal that, of course. Like, is it more station stuff or something more map related? Can you tease anything?
What is the question?
What's the next priority after the
So what I said before is, so we will always do stuff on the station. We will always improve the station, but we're completely aware that the game is not the station, and of course there will be something, and we have to. Of course, we also need to maintain the existing maps. But of course, there are already a lot of ideas for new maps, so don't be worried, there will be new maps. So that's easy to say. So we're not stopping creating new maps, and there's already something prepared. But I cannot say anything about when it's the time to release it, and it's also tricky. So for example, the last map was created in an incredible short amount of time. Even I'm 15 years of experience in the game industry. And I think the last map that was really, of course, also 2 new tools we used, was a really fast production cycle. So I almost never experienced it that we're able to kick something like this off in that time frame. And on the other side, of course, we then need to see, what is that map really good just because we were able to create it really fast? Is it a good map or not? And there, of course, we need also to invest a lot of time at improving things that, we just could see because players just spend way more time sometimes than we can as developers. And they way more than us developers, so they find things that we were not aware of before. And then, of course, we need also to tackle these things. And
I think one thing that definitely, at least you, me, and Tsuji know is that you can never test a map quite like a player can.
Yeah.
Like, they find things you never know. I think that is roughly where we are going to end the stream today, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us, Victor, and taking the questions on the Prospect Station upgrades.
Yeah.
Very exciting. Looking forward to the next releases. So, we're going to have more streams before launch. On the run-up, we will be having streams on at least... I won't commit to the dates yet, but there's going to be a bunch of streams before the launch. Watch out for the socials for that. And remember, there will definitely be a launch drops campaign. And if you check out this channel, we will make sure to always be directing you where the best drops are. So, thank you very much for joining us, everyone. Until next time, Fortuna favors the bold.